One of my best memories at college was playing Sentinels of the Multiverse with my girlfriend and 2 friends. While playing, we banded together as a group of superheroes to fight off the evil artificial intelligence Omnitron. I played a blatant plagiarism of Iron Man, Bunker. My girlfriend played a secret silent assassin, the Wraith. My friend Pedro played the Fanatic, and my 50-year-old friend Chris played the Tempest. Working together, we defeated the evil Omnitron. And I remember the feeling of radiant joy among all of my friends. During the game, Chris made a hilarious dog mating call sound to add a sound effect to their card. Pedro brought a brownie in before we started, and I still remember the taste, smell, and warmth of the dark chocolate in my mouth. You likely have deeply cherished memories like these. It might be from when you were a kid, when you first came to college, or something else. Most students see special memories like these as things that passively get created over time. But what if I told you there are ways you can spot and actively create memories that last a lifetime in college? Considering our lives are in many ways defined by the narrative we see ourselves, we should be very motivated to learn how to do so. Luckily, with an understanding of how memory works, we can not only spot meaningful moments while they're happening, but actively create them. 2 of the best books on how to do so are The Power of Moments by Chip and Dan Heath and The Art of Making Memories by Mike Wicking. In The Power of Moments, Chip and Dan Heath explain that we can recognize and actively create defining moments, memorable experiences packed with meaning. And we can do so by adding 4 elements to every experience: elevation, insight, pride, and connection. While an experience doesn't need every one of these 4 things to become a defining moment, the more of these elements it has, the more memorable it will be. The memory I shared earlier has all 4 of them, which is one of the reasons I'll remember it for the rest of my life. In The Art of Making Memories, Mike Wicking explains that by understanding how memory works, we can cultivate memories that last a lifetime through his acronym MEMO SNAPES: multisensory, emotional, meaningful, outsource, stories, novel, attention, peaks, ends, and struggles. In this video, I'm going to be giving a book summary interpretation of The Power of Moments and The Art of Making Memories on how we can use both of their insights to create memories that last a lifetime in college. We'll explore this by going into why we should learn to create memories that last a lifetime, the Power of Moments framework, elevation, insight, pride, and connection, the Art of Making Memories framework, some tips for creating memories that last a lifetime in college, and finally a wrap up. Make sure to stay until the end because I probably share my best tip for creating lifelong memories then. First, why should we learn to create memories that last a lifetime? According to a study done by Mike Wicking in the book, The Art of Making Memories, 60% of our most memorable moments are during the ages of 18 and 30, but only 20% of our lives occur during then. Why? The theory is that those 12 years are the times of firsts, making them more memorable. You have your first marriage, second marriage, first time majorly disappointing your parents when you tell them you'll be a philosophy major, first time renting a car, first time hitting somebody with that rental car, first time burying the body of the person that you hit with your rental car. Anyways, those 12 years are novelty and adventure central. The world is less novel. We start to solidify our habits. We get into a routine. We're less adventurous. Life doesn't excite us like it once did. Are we doomed to have the most memorable moments of our lives be past us by the time we're 31? No. That's why learning how to create memories that last a lifetime in college is so important. We can learn to make the most of the best time for memory in our lives, but we can also set ourselves up to continue creating defining moments after 30. Memories pay dividends over the long term and can make us happier. You experience something only once, but you remember it potentially an infinite number of times. The memories we create of an experience matter more than the experience itself. It's the memories we'll remember in the long run. This highlights the key difference between instant gratification exercises and long-term gratification exercises. Instant gratification activities like playing video games, eating junk food, or scrolling social media are fun in the moment, but often horrible immediately after stopping. However, long-term gratification activities like working out, building a business, reading a book, or creating an incredible memory can pay dividends over the long term. That's why in this video, we'll be focusing on creating meaningful memories. It's meaningful memories that pay dividends over the long term compared to possessions. Nobody on their deathbed says they wish they had bought more shit. So why are experiences more enjoyable than having possessions? We tend to adapt to possessions we acquire, but we don't adapt the same way to experiences. And this is for a few reasons. Experiences are a bigger part of our identity than our possessions. They won't leave us as our possessions can. They change you. Your experiences connect you to more people. Shared experiences can be reminisced over with other people for the rest of your life. The negative effects of upward social comparison aren't as prevalent for your experiences compared to material goods either. For example, if you or someone had a nicer hotel on their vacation and went to a festival, but you didn't, you might wish that you had done that on your vacation, but you won't just trade memories. Those are your memories. However, with material goods, we are much more likely to wish we had someone else's possessions, which is the driving force behind many people's obsession with climbing the career ladder and making more money. Finally, we are in many ways defined by the narrative that we create of ourselves. So we should be very motivated to learn how to create memories that make for a good narrative. All of these reasons are why creating memories that last a lifetime are some of the most important things that you can do. Power of Moments framework. Now that we understand why creating memories that last a lifetime is so important, how can we do so in college? Let's dive into the 4 elements of the Power of Moments framework to find out. The numbers next to each section represent chapters in the book in case you want to get it for yourself. So first chapter, defining moments. As said earlier, Chip and Dan Heath define defining moments, say that 10 times fast, as memorable experiences packed with meaning. There are 4 main aspects that go into what makes a defining moment. Firstly, elevation. Elevation occurs when we heighten sensory experience and break the everyday script. Secondly, insight. Insight occurs when we learn a fundamental truth about ourselves or the world in a short period. Thirdly, pride. Pride occurs when we're captured at our best, our moments of achievement or courage. Fourthly, connection. Connection occurs when we feel connected to others, like at a party, graduation ceremony, wedding, etc. The next question is how we identify the times in which we can experience defining moments or create them. Chapter 2, Thinking in Moments. Out of all the times to create or experience a defining moment, there are 3 obvious choices: during transitions, milestones, and pits. We should mark transitions, commemorate milestones, and fill pits. By thinking about moments through these 3 lenses, we can more easily identify opportunities in which to experience defining moments or create them. And these 3 circumstances, as well as some moments that don't fall into these buckets, are what we'll dive into for the 4 elements of defining moments set above. Moments of elevation. Moments of elevation occur when we elevate above normal sensory experience and break the script of everyday life. Aside from recognizing moments of elevation, we can create moments of elevation by building peaks and breaking the script. First, building peaks. We tend to remember the peaks of experiences, the end of experiences, and the transitions between experiences. The big mistake people make is trying to raise the average quality of an experience. The issue with this is we don't remember the average. We remember the peaks, ends, and transitions. Therefore, one of the best ways to make for more defining moments is not by making a whole experience more memorable, but by building peaks and ends to an experience. As Chip and Dan Heath say, create memories that are mostly forgettable, occasionally remarkable. But the occasionally remarkable things shouldn't be left to chance. We can build peaks in 3 ways consciously. build sensory appeal, raise the stakes, and as the next chapter gets into, break the script. To boost sensory appeal, we can add as many different sensations into an experience as possible. Kinesthetic, auditory, visual, emotional, olfactory, gustatory, spatial, and more. The more senses we have in an experience, the deeper that they stick in memory. For example, one of my best memories from college was doing trivia night while eating at the Mexican restaurant Lunas in College Town with one of my friends. And as we ate, I remember the taste and smell of the savory barbecue sauce and heat from the bibimbap mushroom pork tacos, the horrible trivia night music and disco lights, and finally the emotion of joy and excitement from answering trivia questions. This combination of sensations made the memory incredibly sticky in my mind. Secondly, we can raise the stakes. The easiest way to do this is by turning an experience into a game. For example, turning a slide social night at college into a game by giving whoever makes the best slide get homemade baked cookies. And spoiler alert, I did not get to eat the cookies. Gamifying the experience raises the stakes and makes for defining moments. Third and finally, we can break the script. This leads us to the next chapter of creating moments of elevation. Scripts are defined ways things typically go in life. Similar to schemas, we have a script for restaurant visits, family dinners, tests in school, etc. Our brain has evolved to create scripts because they simplify the world and make it easier to act in. However, scripts are the antithesis of defining moments. Familiarity and memory are at odds. As Chip and Dan Heath say, we feel most comfortable when things are certain, but we feel most alive when they're not. Moments of elevation often break the script. One of the best ways to do this is to add randomness into an experience. Randomness, by its nature, breaks scripts. However, breaking the script requires meaning to be remembered. Jump scares are surprising, but they aren't meaningful, so we don't remember them. Breaking the script should combine surprise and meaning. Elevation combined with meaning makes an experience a defining moment rather than simply a stimulating one in the moment. Another great way to break the script is to do something new. Our brain tends to remember novel things, which, going back to earlier, is why our 18 to 30s are so memorable. So try out a new restaurant, weird class, activity, or somewhere new. By breaking the script meaningly through randomness or novelty, we can create more defining moments through elevation. Moments of insight. Moments of insight occur when we learn a fundamental truth about ourselves, others, or the world. Moments of insight happen in two ways: tripping over the truth or stretching for insight. Tripping over the truth means viscerally realizing something about yourself, someone else, or the world in a short moment of time. There are three contributors to what make you trip over the truth. There's a clear insight, it's comprised in a short moment, and you come to the realization yourself. I remember the day of my AP World History exam. I walked up to my friend Ben, standing outside of the test taking room, and said proudly, "How many times did you read the textbook?" "I read it 3 times. Ben looked at me with a gleeful expression and said, "I read it 4 times. We both believed passively reading the textbook was a good studying technique because, well, for most high school students, you can get by with it. But then I saw one video by Ali Abdaal about how to study effectively as a medical student, and my whole philosophy about studying came crashing down. He explained that using these studying techniques seems productive in the moment, but wastes hundreds of hours of time over the long run because you simply never remember or understand anything you studied years later. I tripped over the truth by coming face to face with a clear problem in a short amount of time and coming to the realization myself. I started to make steps to study more actively and believe I have a much more effective studying strategy today. Chapter 6 is stretch for insight. Stretching for insight requires putting yourself in a situation where you're likely to fail. This leads to insight because often failure is better for feedback than success. Plus, when we stretch for insight, we learn through action. Doing is more important than thinking for insight. When we do, we fail. When we fail, we find gaps in where to improve. How can we stretch for failure? One of the best ways is by cultivating a growth mindset. This was first defined by researcher Carol Dweck in her 2006 book, Mindset. In it, she explains people with a growth mindset believe their skills and intelligence can be improved through hard work and overcoming failure. People with a growth mindset see the brain as a muscle muscle that grows stronger and smarter with rigorous learning experiences. People with a fixed mindset, however, believe their skills are fixed and therefore shudder from failure and challenge. If you have a fixed mindset, you're doomed. You should give up. I'm just kidding. Fortunately, we can ingrain a growth mindset even if we start with a fixed mindset in an activity. So how can we cultivate a growth mindset? The first step comes with realizing what the growth mindset is in the first place and ingraining it into your very being. In every activity you attend, think about how you can frame it to fit the growth mindset. For example, instead of framing an exam as an anxiety-building annoyance, frame it as a test of your skills. One of my favorite frames is to frame activities like a game. In games, we naturally challenge ourselves because we intuitively understand failure is part of the process. By framing activities as learning experiences, you can motivate yourself to pursue challenges even in the face of failure. The second step comes with challenging yourself. We generally learn more from failure than from success. So challenge yourself by stepping out of your comfort zone is a fantastic way to learn. For your next essay, try writing it in a different style than you usually would. For your next reading assignment, try summarizing the passage in your head afterward. Or for your next exam, try doing it blindfolded, because that would certainly be challenging. Okay, maybe not that last one, but challenging yourself in these ways is bound to lead to failure, leading to more growth. By cultivating a growth mindset and stepping out of our comfort zones, we open ourselves up to more defining moments through insight. Moments of pride occur when we capture ourselves at our best moments, moments of achievement and courage. Chapter 7 is recognize others. The easiest way to create moments of pride for others is simply by recognizing their efforts. Most people want to be appreciated by their work, but we often fail to give that appreciation because we are all so in our heads. One of the best habits I have built to do this more often is to spend procrastinating time going through my contacts and messaging people things I appreciate about them. Try to do this at least once a day. You won't believe how much people appreciate it. The few moments taken out of your day can put them in a good mood for a whole day and spark a connection. In addition, write handwritten note cards to others. In the digital age, texting and email are the dominant communication forms, but these methods are way too easy and thoughtless. Handwriting a note and mailing it has a magic that no digital communication could ever capture. Every time you recognize others like this, it's an opportunity for them to feel defining moments through pride. Chapter 8 is to multiply milestones. Milestones are natural points through which to create a defining moment of pride. The problem is most milestones in life, birthdays, New Year's, etc., are infrequent. So we must create them ourselves. One of the best insights we can take on multiplying milestones is from games. Games naturally create milestones while pursuing goals by separating things into levels, awarding experience, and more. Games are so motivating because they multiply the milestones we reach, but we can do the same by creating artificial milestones for our and others' goals. Check out my 3-part gamification series on how I gamified my life to enjoy learning and studying up above. Another way I love multiplying milestones is by creating the greatest memory notes for my relationships. I dig through the last 6 months or a year of journal entries, photos, and other mementos I have for a person. Then I compile my favorites ordered by time and send it to them. It's an encapsulation of my journey with someone, and the reaction is incredible. I have had friends cry over me sending them these, and I strongly recommend you make one with a relationship that matters to you after reading this. It will change your life. By multiplying the milestones towards our goals and in our relationships, we create more opportunities for defining moments of pride. Chapter 9 is practice courage. Another natural point to feel pride is practicing courage and doing the right thing in difficult circumstances. We don't have to be fearless to be courageous. If we felt no fear, we wouldn't be. As Mark Twain said, courage is resistance to fear, mastery of fear, not absence of fear. How can we do the right thing even when it's hard? The secret is through premeditating our responses. For example, the simple act of writing down an implementation intention, I will do X at time Y in Z place, makes it way more likely we'll do that thing when the time comes. In addition, thinking about how we will act ethically in a difficult situation beforehand makes it much more likely we will act that way when the time comes. It's easy to rationalize bad behavior at the moment if we haven't premeditated how we want to act. Through premeditating, we can act virtuously even when it's hard. This reminds me of the Stoic tenet of premeditating talked about in the book How to Think Like a Roman Emperor by Donald Robertson. Marcus Aurelius, like many of the other Stoics, would imagine misfortune before it happens. For example, imagine what would happen if your greatest lover got diagnosed with stage 4 cancer. Or what would you do if your bank account was robbed? This practice helps prepare the Stoics psychologically for if that thing did happen. You can do the same as a student by premeditating how would you act if you got into a difficult argument with a friend, or if you got a bad exam score back, or if a friend came to you looking for support. By practicing courage through premeditating adversity before a difficult situation, we are vastly more likely to act virtuously during that situation. Moments of connection. Moments of connection are defining moments created through connection with others. Chapter 10 is to create shared meaning. We can feel a moment of connection by creating shared meaning with a person or group. In the last section, we learned how pride can make for a defining moment. Connection is essentially pride, but with others. The best way we can create shared meaning is through creating a synchronized moment, inviting people to a shared struggle, and creating shared meaning from that struggle. These three things make the group feel pride. Firstly, similar to tripping over the truth, we can better create shared meaning when there is a synchronized moment between two or more people. Secondly, we need to get people to join a shared struggle. How do we get group members to want to struggle toward a shared goal? 3 ways. The work means something to them, they have autonomy, and it's their choice whether to participate or not. Work will only mean something to someone if they have a clear purpose for why they're doing it. So all group members must clearly know how their activity contributes to something greater than themselves, how it contributes to a purpose. Think of the number of group projects you've had at college or high school that have felt horrible because nobody knows why they're doing what they're doing. In addition, people are more willing to endure shared struggle when they have autonomy over their work. According to Drive by Daniel H. Pink, autonomy makes up 4 things: having control over the work task, the time you do it, the technique you do it with, and the team you do it with. Having these 4 things inside of a group activity fosters intrinsic motivation. Motivation to do something that emanates from the self. This makes it much more likely someone will join a shared struggle. If you'd like to learn more about fostering intrinsic motivation, check out my video, 7 Powerful Tips for Cultivating Intrinsic Motivation in College from Burnout to Bliss, up above. Third and finally, shared meaning must be made out of the struggle. So think about how you could create shared meaning out of a struggle at college, perhaps in a group project or a board game night with friends, or for a dinner party. By creating a synchronized moment, inviting people to shared struggle, and creating meaning, we can experience and create more defining moments of connection. Chapter 11 is deepen ties. The last way we can experience and create more moments of connection is through deepening ties. Deepening ties involves fostering intimacy, commitment, and responsiveness inside a relationship. Relationships that don't have any of these things are doomed to be surface level or temporary. Now I'm going to ask you a really difficult question. Do you have relationships at college or situationships? If you don't love the character of people you have relationships with enough to continue to contact them after you leave college, you're in a situationship. Situationships aren't necessarily a bad thing, but if all your relationships are made up of them, it's a problem. To get out of situationships and create defining moments of connection, you have to deepen ties. This involves learning more about the people you surround yourself with at college. Learn, understand, and respect their goals, values, faults, and strengths, even if you disagree with them. Make efforts to see them consistently in novel environments. The more context you see them in, the more you learn about them. Finally, be vulnerable. Share faults and failures of your own. Psychologists have shown this leads to the beautiful mess effect, which describes how, ironically, it's exposing our vulnerabilities to others that often creates deeper connections than just talking about our successes. If you'd like to learn more about what makes for a deep friendship and how to create them, check out my video, Beyond Likes and Follows, How to Create Deep Friendships in College to Combat Loneliness, up above. By deepening ties with your relationships at college, you open yourself up to more defining moments through connection. Part 3, the art of making memories, how to create memories that last a lifetime using MEMO Snap. Now that we've gone through the 4-part framework for defining moments from the power of moments, let's move on to the art of making memories by Mike Wicking. As said earlier, Mike Wicking summarizes how we can make memories that last a lifetime using the acronym MEMO SNAPES: multisensory, emotional, meaningful, outsourced, stories, novel, attention, peaks, ends, and struggles. Let's go through each. Multisensory. When remembering things, we also remember the sounds, tastes, sights, touches, smells, and more of the experience. Sensations are a powerful aspect of our memory. A sip of hot chamomile tea brings me straight back to my childhood, reading next to the fireplace in my parents' house. Music is particularly powerful on this sensation dimension. The Taylor Swift song Enchanted takes me back to magical nights spent with my girlfriend at Cornell. Therefore, Wicking recommends that for things we want to remember, we try and make them as multi-sensory as possible. The best triggers are those that associate with only one memory. This way, every time you get that specific cue, you remember that experience. The smell of coffee is much less likely to transport you back to an experience than the smell of seaweed. I mean, unless you eat a crap load of seaweed, in which case, good for you. Live your best life. In addition, for a real memory sensation cocktail, try and make an experience as vibrant, surprising, and colorful as possible. Of course, take this advice with a grain of salt. Don't go throwing fairy dust at everyone you come across. That's rude. But the more an experience explodes with sensation, especially novel ones, the more it will stick in memory. Emotional. People will forget what you said. People will forget what you did, but people will never forget what you made them feel. This is because humans have an incredible memory for emotions. Our emotional memory is stored in the amygdala, whereas our semantic memory, our memory for language, concepts, and general facts about the world, is stored in the hippocampus. In other words, we have an entire other place for storing memories just related to emotions. Humans have a negativity dominance when it comes to remembering information because negative things are more likely to kill us. Luckily, we can use this fact to our advantage by utilizing what Mike Wicking calls the emotional highlighter pen. The emotional highlighter pen involves connecting with loved ones when we have particularly good or bad days. By showing our vulnerability in our highs and lows, we open ourselves up to deeper memories by fostering a connection with those we love most. Another way we can use emotions to foster memories is by leaning into things which scare us, stepping out of our comfort zones. Mike Wicking uses the 10-year test to get himself to do things he wouldn't normally do. He asked his future self in 10 years if he would have wanted his present state to do this thing. If the answer is yes, he does it. By doing the 10-year test, he's able to convince his present self to overcome fear and step out of his comfort zone to create more memories by adding emotion. Meaningful. Usually, we don't just remember any moment. We remember moments with meaning. There is a large difference between something surprising and something surprising and meaningful. Jump scares don't stick in memory. They aren't meaningful, but a surprise birthday does. To make an experience meaningful, we can take from the insights discussed earlier with the power of moments by combining elevation with insight, pride, or connection. Outsource. One of the best ways to help foster your memory is counterintuitively to create mementos that remind you of your best memories. We all do this to some extent. We take photos when we want to capture the moments, buy tourist items while traveling, and more. But Mike Wicking believes we should actively try and go even further. Create physical photo books, pictures of the everyday, drawings that remind you of events, and more. Journal, but add the senses you felt during an experience into it. They will teleport you back to that memory years later. Get creative with your mementos you buy or create. Your future self will find them invaluable, reflecting on them years later. Stories. Storytelling is a universal human language. This is what makes them so powerful for creating and fostering memories. Everyone intuitively understands the structure of a story. Every time we tell a story at family dinner, to a friend, or someone else, we fight against the forgetting curve. We solidify that story in our minds and connect us with those we tell the story to. In effect, stories solidify our memories and connect us to others. They also change the way we see the world. Every time we tell a story, it shapes the way we and others remember those events. Our memories literally change every time we recall something. In effect, our memories of the past are inaccurate. This can lead to things like the Mandela effect, where many people have a false memory about something. But altering memories through storytelling isn't necessarily a bad thing. The stories we tell and how we tell them change how we see the world because they alter our memories. Our memories form the foundation for perceiving the present and imagining the future. We are in large part the stories we tell ourselves. So by purposely telling stories in an optimistic light and biasing towards happy stories, we can foster a healthier narrative of our lives. Attention. Observing something isn't the same as genuinely seeing it. You've probably walked by a staircase on your college campus hundreds of times, but have no idea how many steps there are in it. This describes the difference between observing and investing attention in something. If you want to create memories that last a lifetime, you have to invest attention. Investing focused attention is your way of telling your brain, hey, this is important. Remember this. That means you should put your phone away. One of the things that drives me mad at college is when I'm talking to someone and they are on their phone while speaking to me. They aren't giving me their full attention. Putting your phone away forces you to pay more attention to everything you were taking for granted beforehand. But this tip goes beyond just putting your phone away. Investing attention requires active, purposeful, constant effort to remain in the present. So much of the day, our mind riddles us with intrusive thoughts. Did I study enough for that exam? When's my next homework assignment? Oh crap, my essay's due tonight. These thoughts make it hard to focus on the present moment and create memories. One of the best books I have read on how to calm the storm inside of our heads and temper these intrusive thoughts is The Victorious Mind by Anthony Metivier. This book explores by how a combination of meditation, breathing techniques, journaling, and personalizing health and memory techniques can help us calm the storm inside of our heads. You can check out my book summary of it up above. In effect, we can more easily invest attention in the present moment and create memories that last a lifetime. Novel. We remember novel things. This can include novelty in people, senses, activities, anything. In fact, as said earlier in The Power of Moments, researchers Dan and Chip Heath reveal that 60% of our most memorable moments are had between the ages of 18 and 30. The theory is it's when we do the most of our firsts in life. Understanding this principle, we should create more memories by doing more novel things and breaking out of our routines. I'm implementing this fact by seeing my friends in more novel environments. While my wallet takes a hit, I purposely try and get lunch in different restaurants instead of always seeing them at the dining hall. I notice I remember the experience much better later on. Another effect that helps explain this is the von Restorff effect, which describes how we remember the things that stick out. Think about going along the highway and feeling an irresistible urge to veer your head in a car accident. Wicking recommends you take advantage of this by bringing a pineapple with you when you give speeches. There are many speeches you could easily be forgotten, but not if you have a pineapple. That's novel. Now you become the person that gave a speech with a pineapple. Power of memory, my friends. Peaks, ends, and struggles. If you made it this far, you deserve to hear my best tip for creating memories that last a lifetime. This is probably the single highest leverage tip from the whole video. We remember the peaks, ends, and struggles of an experience. One of the biggest mistakes people make when trying to create memories is they heighten the average of an experience or increase the time duration of the experience. For example, they'll book a resort for 2 weeks instead of 1, thinking that it will automatically make it better. Instead of getting 1 dessert, they will get 2 of the same. But this neglects the fact that we don't remember a whole experience. We remember things in snapshots, often the peaks and ends of an experience. So one of the best ways to make for more defining experiences is not by making a whole experience more memorable, but by elevating the peak and end. That's what people will remember anyways. One great way to do this in the age of instant gratification and impatience is by adding struggle to an experience. Adding struggle naturally heightens the peak and end because there is more of a journey to getting the positive reward. It's much more memorable to arrive at the top of Machu Picchu after a long hike than to arrive after a 5-minute helicopter ride. This is probably the highest leverage tip I took from all of my research, and it completely changed the way I go around creating memories. Now you know the secret too. Tips for creating memories that last a lifetime in college. Now that we've gone through the 4-part framework for creating defining moments from The Power of Moments and MEMO Snapes from The Art of Making Memories, let's summarize by discussing some tips for creating memories that last a lifetime in college. Think in terms of transitions, milestones, and pits. Define places to create defining moments. Create moments of elevation. Build the peaks of an experience by adding many different senses to an experience. Raise the stakes and break the script meaningfully by adding randomness or novelty. Create moments of insight. Trip over the truth by creating a clear insight, compressed in time, that you or someone else comes to themselves. Stretch for insight by cultivating a growth mindset and stepping out of your comfort zone. Create moments of pride. Recognize others through text, in person, or handwritten notes. Gamify your goals by creating smaller and artificial milestones. Practice courage by premeditating adversity and using the implementation intentions so you do the right thing in difficult moments. Create moments of connection. Create shared meaning with a person or group by synchronizing a moment, inviting people to a shared struggle, and creating shared meaning from that struggle. Deepen ties by learning, understanding, and respecting the goals, values, faults, and strengths of your relationships, as well as being vulnerable yourself. Make experiences multi-sensory. We remember things through association. The more novel senses you can mix into an experience, the more sticky it will be in memory. Make experiences emotional. We remember emotionally valent events particularly well. Make an experience meaningful. Surprise alone won't make us remember something. It has to mean enough for us that we will want to remember the experience later on. Create mementos that will remind you of an experience. Journaling, photo books, etc. will all serve as helpful memory aids for when you want to remember something. With mementos, find ways to add multiple senses to them. For example, while journaling, add what an experience smelled like, tasted like, felt like, looked like, and more. Create something into a story. Humans have evolved to remember things in stories. And when we tell stories, we fight the forgetting curve and create a healthy narrative of our lives. Focus attention. You can only create memories if you're truly attentive to what is happening around you. This requires incredible focus and presence. Focus on the peaks, ends, and struggles of an experience. It's much more effective than making the average of an experience better. A central idea of this video is that memories are a central part of what make life enjoyable. Meaningful memories bring us more joy and fulfillment than possessions. They can pay dividends in the long run. They allow us to share powerful moments with others. We are in many ways defined by the moments we create. But as we know, without intervention, most of our most important memories naturally occur between the ages of 18 and 30. If you want to make our lives and those around us more enjoyable and fulfilling, we need to not only recognize more of the defining moments happening naturally throughout our days, but take active steps to create them as well. After reading this article, not only how to recognize defining moments, but also create them for yourself. You know how to create memories that last a lifetime in college, rather than hope they come to you passively. If you like this video, you should consider subscribing to my newsletter, which this video was actually based upon. In Aiden's Infinite Play, you will receive a weekly personal essay targeted towards college students in the realm of gamification, relationship psychology, Obsidian PKM, or memory. A curated list of everything that has come out on my content creation channels, and a curated list of my coolest learnings over the past week. As always, have a fantastic rest of your day, and bye-bye.